The world is once again holding its breath, gripped by a sense of déjà vu as headlines flash warnings of a new crisis. But this time, the stakes are even higher, and the uncertainty is spreading faster than before. A new, more complex chip shortage is emerging, one that threatens to cripple the automotive industry on a scale we've never seen. Production lines that once hummed with activity now stand eerily silent, and the ripple effects are just beginning. This is the global chip shortage 2.0, a two-front war on microchips, with shockwaves already hitting assembly plants and dealerships worldwide. The impact is immediate, but the long-term consequences could be even more severe. It's not just about technology, it's about jobs, economic stability, and the cars we rely on every day. Families, workers, and entire communities are feeling the pressure as uncertainty grows. Unlike the last crisis, this one is a dual threat, a geopolitical standoff over legacy chips where nations are vying for control and influence, and every diplomatic move has global consequences. At the same time, an AI-driven boom is devouring advanced memory chips, fueling a race for technological dominance that's pushing supply chains to the breaking point. Together, these forces have created a perfect storm, trapping automakers and consumers in a global squeeze. Executives scramble for solutions, while everyday people face rising prices and shrinking options. A single political decision in Europe can now halt factories across the ocean, disrupting supply chains that span continents and industries. Meanwhile, surging AI demand in Silicon Valley can spike car prices in the Midwest, linking distant economies in ways never seen before. As of December 2025, industry leaders warn, production lines are slowing, orders are delayed, and factory shutdowns loom on the horizon. The sense of urgency is palpable. This video unpacks the layers of this crisis, how politics and technology collided, and what it means for automakers, workers, and you. The story is complex, but understanding it is crucial. We'll explore the chess match that sparked the fire, where every move on the global stage has far-reaching effects. The tech gold rush that fanned the flames, as companies and countries race to secure their share of the world's most critical resource. And the real-world consequences for everyone: families unable to buy cars, workers sent home early, and businesses struggling to adapt. Through expert analysis and hard data, we'll navigate the complexities of chip shortage 2.0, revealing the hidden connections and the stakes for the future. The road ahead for the auto industry, and for all of us, has never looked more uncertain, but by understanding the crisis, we can better prepare for what comes next. To understand today's crisis, let's rewind the clock and revisit the chain of events that brought us here. It all started with the original chip shortage of 2020, a turning point that exposed the fragility of global supply chains. As COVID lockdowns swept the globe, demand for electronics skyrocketed. Everyone needed devices to work and learn from home. Meanwhile, automakers, bracing for a recession, slashed their chip orders, expecting a long downturn. But when car demand rebounded faster than anyone predicted, automakers found themselves at the back of the line. Chip makers had already shifted their focus to consumer electronics, leaving car companies scrambling. The just-in-time manufacturing model, once praised for its efficiency, failed spectacularly, exposing a critical vulnerability in the system. For nearly 2 years, automakers halted production lines, built thousands of unfinished cars, and even stripped features from new models just to keep vehicles rolling off the line. Calls for sweeping supply chain reform echoed across the industry, but by late 2025, many of those hard-learned lessons had already faded from memory. New chip plants are still years away from completion, and automakers have quietly slipped back into relying on single suppliers, especially for older legacy chips that power essential vehicle systems. But this time, the shortage is different. It's not just market forces at play, but deliberate geopolitical moves, export controls, and a tech revolution driven by AI that's reshaping the entire landscape. Now, the industry isn't just waiting in line, it's caught in a global trade war, fighting for limited chips against the surging demands of the AI industry and new technologies. The stakes are higher than ever, and the risks are everywhere, threatening to reshape the future of entire industries. The first shockwave hit this autumn, sending ripples through the global technology landscape. This wasn't triggered by the usual market volatility, but by a sudden and dramatic geopolitical clash that few saw coming. At the heart of the storm was Nexperia, a Dutch chip maker owned by China's Wingtech, whose legacy chips are essential for the world's car industry. In September, the Dutch government made a bold move, seizing control of Nexperia, blocking Chinese access and signaling a new era of tech protectionism that would reverberate far beyond Europe. China retaliated swiftly, banning Nexperia's Chinese factories from exporting chips, escalating the standoff into a full-blown trade conflict. Overnight, a critical artery of the global auto supply chain was severed, leaving manufacturers scrambling for alternatives. Millions of essential chips, once destined for car factories worldwide, were suddenly out of reach, threatening to paralyze production. Automakers can't simply swap in a new chip. Requalifying parts takes months of rigorous testing, redesign and certification, making quick solutions impossible. By November, German and US auto groups sounded the alarm, warning their plants were just days or weeks away from grinding to a halt. The message was unmistakable: the world's car industry is now hostage to the unpredictable tides of global politics and international rivalry. The scramble for legacy chips has begun, with automakers, suppliers and governments all searching desperately for a way out, but no quick fix in sight. The ripple effects are immediate. Production lines stall, workers are left waiting, and the countdown to factory closures has already started. The auto world is on edge, bracing for what comes next as the standoff over legacy chips continues to unfold. While geopolitics choked legacy chips, a second crisis erupted: the AI boom devouring advanced memory chips. Tech giants are racing to build massive data centers, driving demand for high-bandwidth memory, HBM chips, to record highs. Memory makers like SK Hynix and Samsung are shifting production to HBM, starving the market of standard DRAM and NAND chips. Inventory buffers have collapsed from months to mere weeks. SK Hynix's HBM supply is sold out through 2026, and shortages of conventional memory will persist for years. Modern cars, packed with infotainment, digital cockpits and driver-assist tech, are now competing with AI servers for the same chips. Electric vehicles, even more chip-hungry, are especially at risk. As automakers scramble for legacy chips, they're blindsided by a memory chip drought threatening their most advanced models. Automakers now face a double-bind: legacy chip shortages threaten basic car production, while memory chip scarcity jeopardizes high-end, profitable models. By late October, industry groups in Germany and the US warned of imminent shutdowns. Launches of 2026 models are already in jeopardy. Automakers are cutting shifts, delaying launches, and even building shy, parking nearly finished cars until missing chips arrive. Billions in capital are tied up, and the logistical nightmare grows. The timing couldn't be worse. The industry's massive investment in electric vehicles is now at risk. EVs need even more chips, and the shortages threaten to stall the transition to electrification. The dream of a smooth, rapid EV rollout is colliding with a fractured supply chain. Automakers are being forced to rethink production targets and timelines. Again, the chip crisis isn't just an industry problem, it's hitting consumers and communities hard. New car supplies are drying up, leading to fewer choices, longer waits, and less bargaining power for buyers. Automakers are decontenting vehicles, removing features that rely on scarce chips, like advanced navigation or premium audio. Buyers must choose: get a stripped-down car now, or wait indefinitely for the full package. Factory slowdowns mean layoffs and furloughs, hurting workers and local economies. The pain ripples out to suppliers, logistics, and small businesses that depend on auto plants. Used car prices are surging as more buyers turn to pre-owned vehicles. For many, the dream of car ownership is slipping out of reach. The crisis is reshaping the market and everyday life. The dual chip shortage is fueling inflation and threatening global productivity. Memory chip prices have more than doubled. Samsung hiked server memory prices by 60% in November. Automakers are paying premiums, engaging in bidding wars, and re-engineering vehicles to adapt, eroding profits and raising car prices. As cars become more like smartphones, they're subject to the same cost pressures. Higher vehicle prices feed broader inflation, forcing central banks to keep interest rates high and slowing economic growth. Scarce chips stifle investment and delay tech upgrades, threatening productivity gains across industries. The chip shortage isn't just a supply problem, it's a bottleneck for progress itself. Experts agree, the Nexperia standoff marks a new era where chips are strategic assets, not just commodities. The auto industry failed to build resilient, diverse supply chains after the last crisis, leaving it exposed to single-point failures. The AI-driven chip demand is a long-term trend, not a blip, and automakers now compete with tech giants for limited supply. The combined effect of geopolitics and AI is greater than the sum of its parts. Automakers are fighting a war on two fronts with limited options. There are no quick fixes, only a long, difficult road to recovery. The industry must reinvent its approach to supply chain management. The lesson: resilience is now as important as efficiency. As 2025 ends, the auto industry stands at a crossroads, facing a second devastating chip shortage in less than a decade. The crisis exposes the fragility of global supply chains and demands urgent action. Building domestic chip capacity is vital, but years away. In the short term, diplomacy is key to resolving disputes like Nexperia. Automakers must finally prioritize supply chain diversification, qualifying multiple suppliers and building inventory buffers. Flexibility in design and deeper partnerships with chipmakers are now essential. The cost of resilience is far less than another shutdown. For consumers, this is a lesson in global interconnectedness. Our cars, phones, and livelihoods depend on tiny pieces of silicon. Staying informed and supporting smarter policies is more important than ever. The road ahead is uncertain, but with collaboration and innovation, we can build a stronger, more secure future. The next chapter of the auto industry and the global economy starts now.